everybody, and welcome back. This is Talkin' Shop, and I'm Miss Jen, and you're on The Experience. Today we're going to talk to you about a really excellent project that is on Kickstarter from good friends of mine. I have read the original series that is kind of tied to this, so I'm excited to introduce to you Mog Park and Rob Multari. Hey!
Hi, Jen.
Hello.
I am so happy to see both y'all, and I'm so thankful that you guys are forgiving about giant windstorms because
we're just happy to be here.
We had an interview planned, and right when we went to go and hit record, there was a giant windstorm that had been playing havoc with us all day long, and the lights started to flicker. So we moved it to today. But I'm so excited. Okay, so I don't know if you can see them over here, but I got my night wolves.
I see that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Awesome.
this book, Snowpaw, is it a character from this universe?
Yes. So Snowpaw is Nightwolf's mentor in the series. Her first appearance is in issue 3, and throughout the rest of the book, she kind of is training him and helping him along the way. And so it basically, with her, like, she is 200 years older. She has way more experience, and we had that. There's so much that I could do to tell about her story, but that only kind of gets a couple sentences in a conversation. In Nightwolf, but it leaves so much open to like tell all this different, 200 years worth of story and experience that she has. So that's where Snowpaw, starts at her origins in the 19th century, and kind of goes between the two, which is, like I said, just I'm excited to be able to dive into that.
Oh yeah. So how long did it take you to do the original Nightwolf issues, which went out to about issue 5?
So we're up to issue 5. We're working on issue 6 now. So it's an ongoing series. So it's taken some time to kind of get the ball rolling. I think the first issue published in September 2017. Since then, I've been getting kind of like an issue out a year, but then now it's kind of been picking up, getting 2. The next issue comes out this spring. And so it's one of those things. It's a part-time job for me. I'm trying to switch that to make it a full-time gig, but until then. But yeah, like I said, it's been like a snowball effect, and just kind of picking up the pace as the Kickstarters have been growing and getting successful.
So what was your inspiration for the first book? Did you see something on TV or read a book, or did you just like hit you in the head like a ton of bricks, the whole universe?
So originally, like, I started writing whenever I was in my early teens. For like I was doing X-Men fan fiction, and I sent in to Marvel. I submitted like a whole storyline of how Wolverine got his adamantium back, because this was like between when Magneto ripped it out and before he got it back during the Apocalypse series. So I was like, come on, I'm like, put it back in there. It was way more interesting, because like Wolverine's my favorite, so like him kind of getting his butt whooped and breaking his bones, I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, come on. So I had this whole story arc and adding a whole new like X-Men team, because being a fan of the New Mutants and Gen X, I was like, what, I can make my own characters too and throw them in this scenario. So when I did that and I submitted this this fan fiction to Marvel, I got a kind rejection letter encouraging me to keep up the work, but saying that they had their storylines in advance for so long and that they couldn't use it, and so, which is fine, but for a 13-year-old, that that encouragement helped light that fire of creativity under my butt.
Wait, at 13 you sent that in?
Oh yeah, 13.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, in my really crude character designs too that I did myself with colored pencil. So so I mean, again, that was like one of those things that I was like, hey, 13, I know what I want to do with my life, right?
Mhm.
So that kind of like helped project myself further on. I decided to take those characters and rework them, and then I've always been a fan of like werewolves and such, and so I've always seen like there's in TVs and media, like in television, I never saw a werewolf the way I wanted to see a werewolf. They were always like, cursed and this mindless beast that changed at the full moon. But I was like, all right, well, I liked Wolfsbane from the New Mutants and X Factor, and then she transitioned to different teams. Um, but I always felt that they didn't use her properly, that she was always very timid or very wild one way or the other. There was no kind of in between. She could have been a stronger female lead that they never kind of let her be. So I always kind of wanted to see a werewolf that was a hero who could change at will, had the same mental faculties that they did when they were a human, and had like they were born that way. They weren't just bitten and cursed or whatever. So that's kind of like where that all kind of developed from. And so I was working on it until my teenage years. Later on, I think I was probably 17 or 18. I was showing a friend like my roughs of Nightwolf when I first started developing it, and he was like, "That kind of sounds familiar. It sounds like Werewolf the Apocalypse." And I'm like, "What's that?" And he showed me the gaming book. And for those of you who don't know what Werewolf the Apocalypse is, it's kind of like an RPG, like Dungeons and Dragons, except set in a world with vampires and werewolves. And so I'm looking through this book, and I'm like, "Holy crap!" I'm like, "This is exactly like what I imagined, like what I want in a story." I'm like, "Is there a comic book or something to this?" And he's like, "No, it's a game guide." And I'm like, "So there's no story to this?" He's like, "No, it's just a kind of a starter story, and then you play the game." And I'm like, so I was like, all right, well now I really am going to do this, So that's kind of like how it kind of got the ball rolling. I created my world, my universe, my mythology, and that's where Nightwolf came from.
Oh, it's perfect. All right, and I understand why you wanted to do a Snowpaw origin story, or at least get to know that character and why they're so powerful and why they would be in a position to teach the rest of the characters anything. Mm-hmm. What put you together with Mog to do the part?
That's a kind of ties into the like your circle here. Henri Campan, he was doing a live signing show, and I was his first guinea pig for that. And so I had signed a bunch of books and sent it to him. And during that show, Mog happened to be watching and picked up the first two issues because he ran out of the sets of 1 through 4 that he had, and he only had like sets of 1 and 2 left. And so she picked up those 2 from him, and then picked up the remaining 3 and 4 from me at the time when I only had 4 issues out. And I had been following her prior to that because I've seen her gorgeous work flying around, with the cover art that she's been doing. Plus, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, and so following her artwork, and then I was amazed in the like that she was grabbing my story. I'm like, yes, like I'm fanboying out in my head as I'm being all cool on the video. But like so. She had posted a very nice review of the book and the story and how she liked it. And even her husband, Mel, commented how he was vested in it. And so, from there, it gave me the confidence to reach out to her and said, hey, I'm doing a spin-off series for the female werewolf. It's set in 19th century Scotland. It's a little more fantasy, and it's, kind of geared towards like, girls who are getting into comics or who are already into comics, but men can also enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. It's not just a female, interest book. It's it's for everybody, but it's the purpose of it is I wanted to have something for my daughter to kind of a strong hero to look up to when she was old enough to get into comics. So that's, as soon as I had sent her the script and told her to look it over, let me know what you think. She was like, yeah, man, I'm in.
That's the one thing I have learned about Mog is that not just a creator but also a fan of comic books. It makes a big difference, I think, because sometimes you can just work in a medium but not just like really consume it or be a fan of it,
Right.
just a paycheck. But that's not. I don't think that's the way Mog thinks about it.
No, definitely not.
Speak to that, Mog. Tell me how much you love the comics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on it. I generally learned from some prior professional experiences. If I work on projects that I am not a fan of or I don't really particularly want, but I just want the paycheck, it doesn't really come out well. And what happens is, yeah, it just overall nothing really comes out well to the point I think neither party is satisfied, I think. Or maybe I'm the only one who's not satisfied. But either way, I learned, and then we were discussing with Mel that next time from this time on, when we pick a project, we'll make sure that at least there's something that's very interesting about it that I can be invested in for a long time, because art in itself is a very it takes a long time to create something. I mean, you can still be fast, but it does take a big chunk of your time. So you might as well try to enjoy something. And especially with what intrigued me with Rob is because it's about werewolves. I love wolves in general. It's fantasy and also it's historic. That's what really got me when he said, "Hey, you're interested in a historic Scotland, late 1800s." And I thought, "Oh my God, yes, that was it. That was it."
It was like a match made in heaven.
Okay, so I know that Rob had to have done research for the writing part, but in the art part of it, does Rob write in a way where it's very descriptive and you don't have to go do any research, or did you just go and pour through history books on your own and to look for cues?
With Rob, there wasn't much research to be done because Rob is a very visual thinker, and then I think second comes auditory. So he's a very good listener, but first comes visual. So when he actually writes a script, it's a tight script. And then on top of that, he's one of the rare guys who actually provides images of exactly what it looks like. And that really cuts time in helping, because usually I would go over pouring over historic things. And then, yeah, there are certain parts where he didn't research, and I mean, he can't research everything. So there are certain things that I have to research, and that one I would pour over, and then I would throw that information to him. But I noticed I tend to do a lot of info dump because for me, information is never enough. I'm a huge consumer of information. But working with Rob, I notice people types like him. He kind of is like my husband in this way, where just give me one, maybe two. Don't give me 20.
That's right.
I mean, he never said that. He's very gentleman, but I'm getting the feeling it's like that. So
it's not so much that it's like too much. It's like that, like, you know, I think like in the case when we were going over her cover, like there was 19 thumbnails and they were all good. And I'm like,
what do you do then?
I'm like, I can't
it's like, hey, that's your job. Narrow it down, man.
I mean, I tried. Believe me. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so many good things here. I'm like, I couldn't. I was just like,
Yeah, decision making is really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, but what we ended up doing was polling our audience through her live stream, and you know they kind of narrowed it down for us, and then that helped to make that decision.
Oh yeah, Mog has so many followers that love the live, just like live streams that she does. We're just doing what she's doing right now, which is like just showing process and doing the art.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've only ever watched them. I've never had an opportunity where I could listen to it at the same time because I'm usually working on something. Do you talk through the process too, or do you talk about something else while you're doing the art?
Before, when I first started, I would talk about the process, and then I realized people are bored to tears. An educational info dump. That's why I'm the only one who's doing it. That's why people don't drop. So I thought, hey, you know, it's much better if I make it casual. And I only would start talking about the process if people ask me questions. Because if nobody really asks questions, then I learned not to just shove it in their faces. I'm down the throat, shove it down their throats. Yeah.
So what do you usually talk about? TV, movies?
Yeah, stupid things, you know, that makes people laugh. Yeah, I would say my talk is kind of like rated R. I mean, just because of I use some swear words.
There's been a lot of conversation with the comments too, like
Yeah.
that I've noticed whenever I've watched.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I realized the more people want to get a reaction out of you, and kind of when you're callous with them, the more they like it.
Yeah.
So
It feels
okay,
like family, right? If someone gives you a lot of heck.
yeah, I love it. I love it. Maybe that's why as I was growing up, I never was bullied.
Because you're good at giving the heckles.
Okay, so Mel, this is a question I really have for you.
What?
You're very much out in the social realm a lot, right? You're doing a lot of live streaming and connecting with your fan base. Do you find that when you go to conventions that there are a lot of people that walk up to the booth that act like they know you really well, and that if they tell you their name, you know them because they've been a viewer, but otherwise you wouldn't because you don't get to see their face, right?
Yeah.
They see you all the time. You've never seen them.
Yeah. That happened a lot, especially this year. And it's harder because it was COVID and they come up with a mask. Like, hey, Mark, how's it going, man? Oh my God, it's like so cool, isn't it? And I'm thinking, oh, hey, how's it going? And then I have this dumb look, like, huh? And then they say, oh, it's me. Don't worry, it's me. And then they pull down their mask. And the thing that, again, what COVID is, I blame COVID for this.
Yeah.
They change so differently. Like some people lose a lot of weight. Some people suddenly grow a beard. Some people gain a lot of weight. So,
I think that for conventions, both guests and people that are coming to like hang out and talk to them should print out their little icon for whatever social media, their Facebook little tiny circle, and just wear it as a button. So, or put it on their mask, right?
Yeah, because sometimes they don't even have like their name, like they're not even using their real name either. So like they need to have like the @ sign below.
Yeah, I come across that a lot where people order from me and then they sent payment, but it's a different name on the payment than is the person. So after the first time when we connect the two people, then it's fine. But sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. Like we have a local customer who goes by Moon Mars online, but that's not anywhere near his real name.
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing that's that you've experienced at conventions? Just like that was different because of COVID.
Oh.
Both of you guys. What do you guys think?
Oh my God. I'll go first.
Oh yeah, you go first.
Okay, the most recent one, the most memorable one is this lady. She came up to me, and me and my husband were sitting down at the time, and she said, "Hey, I can read minds. It's a curse and a gift. And don't worry, I have mastered not to read on my free will. Before when I was a kid, I just could read everybody and I just was going crazy. But now I can control it and it's more powerful." And she stayed there a good 30 minutes. And then she suddenly got into, this is destiny, you and I meeting. And then she got into everything is like a holy Bible thumping lady. She got into trying to preach the word of God, Christianity, nonstop. And I think one of the work she was interested in, I said, "Oh, this is a character, Madame Xanadu. She kind of reads tarot cards." And I told her that, and she said, "Oh, that is devil's work." And she started again going more into it. And the whole time, after about 30 minutes mark, I started thinking, "Hey, read my mind, get out." Can you read it?
Like there are parts of all that are very nice, but probably not while standing in front of your booth at a Comic-Con.
I didn't want to get preached. I really didn't want to get preached.
No.
So yeah, that's my crazy one.
That's crazy. How about you, Rob? What's your craziness?
So I've had several different ones, but the ones that stand out the most was actually before COVID. There was a girl who was dressed up in like a vampire dress and had like teeth, but like she claimed that she was a werewolf and that she was telling me what was wrong with my story because the silver thing isn't true. Like all these different things, like, like what was wrong and what was right, like basically saying how like she's a werewolf, she knows what's up and this and that. I just kept going on and on and on and on and on, saying that like I need to like change like my version of how I feel my mythology is because like of her experience and her family's experience and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, yeah, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, man, like just pandering to it, and the conversation like kept going on, and like people are coming, this way and that, try and like I'm trying to like also talk to them, but she just kept like kind of freaking them out. So then they kept like moving on.
What's the likelihood she was an actual werewolf, Rob? Don't piss her off.
I mean, she didn't bite me or anything, so I'm, slightly disappointed.
You should have signed her as a consultant and then said, "Here's my card, and I'll see you later."
Yeah, that was. I was just like, okay.
I like that one.
Oh man.
Wow.
Though I was like the reason like I knew that she was slightly like not on kilter about it because her teeth were definitely like you could tell they were the fake ones, right?
Yeah.
Like you could see like where they were like kind of like not maybe glued but or stuck on there with something, like denture cream or something. I'm like, so you're a werewolf, but you need denture cream.
Don't know. That was where her fangs expand.
Right? Yeah. Apparently, I don't know. They had
Or
the ring trees.
Talk about your Kickstarter. What are the cool like? I forget what they're called. Where they get like when you get to a certain level and then there's like extra cool stuff to get. What are those?
Yeah. So I have two different things. I have milestones and I have stretch goals. So
that's it. Stretch goals. Man.
Yes. So we are definitely in stretch goal territory, but we have. Right now we have 10 milestones unlocked, and the way I do my milestones is, doing like 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%, and then I also have like 100 backers, 200 backers, 300 backers, 400 backers, and we're up to 600 backers right now. So we have a total of 10 milestones, unlocked right now. So we have 4 digital copies of other friends' work, like the Boston Metaphysical Society, and we have Ghost Goth Girl, The Secrets of Willow Mist, and Robin issue number 1. So those are all unlocked, as well as a Snowpaw bookmark. We have 3 chibi stickers, die cut stickers, and then we also have 2 prints, 5x7 prints. And so for the digital backers, they also get those prints in a digital wallpaper for their phone or for for their computers or tablets.
I'm sorry. In my family, in my birth family, if you made that kind of gaff, it would follow you the rest of your life. You'd bring it up for every time we get together as a family. It would come up in some way.
Remember when you said that?
Yep. My poor mother is trying to live down the time where she got frustrated with me and my brother while we were sitting at a restaurant having dinner, and she had gotten us cookies. And she wanted us to finish them. She says, "Shut up and drink your cookie." So whenever
maybe it was a milkshake.
Anytime that we just want to get back at her, we're just like, "Mom, shut up and drink your cookie."
That's awesome. Oh, your poor mom. So for stretch goals, so the first 3 stretch goals are unlocked right now, and the first one was that we unlocked metal print versions of the covers. So that's done by Fairy Metal, and so each version, so there's 25 each of each cover. There's 6 different versions of the variant covers that are the print versions, and then now we have the 25 of the metal, so you can get those in different pledge levels. And then we also have the second stretch goal. Everybody gets for free. It's a digital copy of Mog's sketchbook for issue 1. So it's all of the sketch pages, the thumbnails from the covers that we talked about, all these great things in a digital format. So everybody gets to enjoy the amazing sketches that she put together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, because even like her sketches are like just so good that Mel was like, "Don't
you throw those away?"
Now. Yeah, see, look at that. But yeah, so everybody will get that as a digital format, and then we also had just unlocked a this little Lego figure that people can add on.
Dude, yeah.
Which makes so that makes a total of 4 Lego figures that are available.
Okay, that's crazy. So multiple people can have those, or is it just like there's one person?
No, there's so there's going to be there's 100 of these that are being, so there was 100 each of those minifigures produced. This one's the newest one, so there's 100 available up for grabs. These other ones only have like 25 or less available, so they're in the add-ons. You can add them on until the supplies run out.
What a great idea! It almost makes me think you have kids of the right Lego age.
I do. You know what's funny is I the first 3. I bribed my kids. That was their payment to help stuff the bags and the boards for me. So each campaign, like they have gotten one of these Legos for helping stuff the bags and boards to save me time while I'm doing everything else.
Oh my word! All right, looks like we're running down to the last minute or so. Do you guys want to share where people should go to the Kickstarter, where your good social media links are?
Yes. So you can find the Kickstarter. The quick URL is lonewolfcomics.com/Snowpaw, and that'll redirect you to the Kickstarter page. You can find me right here at Lone Wolf Comics on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also lonewolfcomics.com. I have an online shop there where you can pick up past issues of Nightwolf or other apparel. And you can find me personally at Rob Multari, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And Mog, you want to tell them where they can find you?
As for me, I made it very easy. Literally written on the name. It says there, right there. Mog Park, at Mog Park, yo. That's it, okay? Facebook, Twitter.
Just don't put yo at the end.
Okay.
I was going to say, watch out, they'll put yo.
I've ordered that before.
The end. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, ArtStation. I keep it simple. It's my name. It's real. It's a real name too.
So, do you sell your originals?
Yes, I do sell my originals.
And also, there are some original for art up for grabs at this campaign. So the original up for cover is part of a one only camp, and it's done with ground gemstones. The painting.
What?
So you're like, yeah, legit. Like, so her cover is done with paintings with paint made with ground gemstones. So that's available as a we call it the Dire Wolf tier member.
Yeah.
It's a one of a kind, and you get all of our tchotchkes plus the original.
Yes.
And then also we have some a 4-piece lunar phase. It's a 7x10 painterly sketch. There's a crescent moon, there's a full moon, half moon, and a blood moon. You can get those individually, or you can try and grab them all. And so you have all 4 of them as a set.
Is there real blood in the blood moon? Everyone's going to ask.
No. There are lots of crimson.
Just crimson.
There's also 2 pages of her original pages that are available from the book as well.
Wow.
Yes. So guys, please support Rob.
And Mog.
So we can keep continuing, man. It's not just Rob, it's his whole team. That includes me and Bruna Salas and the editor and who knows,
we have
maybe more different artists. Yeah.
Dave Lentz with the letterer. We have Bruna Costa, who is our colorist. We have Mel, who manages Mog.
Yeah.
And then also Katrina Rhodes, who is my editor.
And you guys might not think about it this way, but actually when you support Kickstarters, you really do kind of support local comic shops too, because without the Kickstarter existing, then there wouldn't be an opportunity to have a retailer level, which we can get.
That's right. We have 2 retailer tiers for those retailers out there.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to catch up on all of Nightwolf and Snowpaw. And then we also have an exclusive where you can get 100 copies of Snowpaw #1 with a cover you choose to design and with your logo.
Says Jen. My ears come up.
That is cool. Wow. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I love hanging out with you guys. I'm so glad that we got to do this.
Yes, thank you for having us.
And don't sleep on it. The Kickstarter ends soon, so you want to get
November
to
3rd.
that. And then also poke your local comic shop if you think they'll be interested in that retailer tier, and go grab up some of that, cool art with gemstones in it. If you can get into it.
Yeah. We're going historic.
All right. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.